He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not giving you attendance, because I don't feel like you learned anything." I thought I was hallucinating, but that was just the start. What came next? Manipulation, blackmail, and a level of academic gaslighting you won't believe until I turned the tables. If you've ever been underestimated, lied to, or watched someone abuse their power just because they could, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in. Because this story, it ends exactly how you're hoping. The professor with a God complex. In my second year of university, I signed up for a programming course taught by a professor whose ego entered the room 10 minutes before he did. Let's call him Professor V. From the very first lecture, it was clear he wasn't there to teach. He was there to be worshipped. Instead of starting with code, he rolled out a 30-slide presentation about his career milestones, including a blurry photo of him shaking hands with someone he claimed was one of Google's top engineers. Nobody asked. He barely taught. But still, I showed up. Every single class. Because our university had this rule. If you miss more than 20% of your classes, you automatically lose the right to sit for the final exam. No excuses. No makeups. No debate. So, I was there. Tired, bored, sometimes confused, but present. I never talked back. I wasn't a troublemaker. But something about me, Professor V didn't like. I still don't know why. Maybe he saw me yawn once. Maybe I didn't look impressed during his JavaScript origin story. Whatever it was, it would come back to bite me. Police car light, the injustice hits. About a month into the semester, we got our attendance reports. I opened mine, and my heart dropped. Classes attended, 2 out of 12. 12 lectures. I'd been to every single one, even the 8 a.m. ones in winter. And yet, the system said I'd only shown up twice. I was confused, then annoyed, and finally furious. So I did what any normal logical student would do. I went straight to his office to clear it up. I walked in politely, report in hand, and said, "Sir, I think there's been a mistake with my attendance." He didn't even look up from his laptop. "It's not a mistake. I didn't mark you present. But I was there." He looked at me, smiled, that slow, smug kind of smile that crawls under your skin, and said, "Being in class physically doesn't mean you learned anything. So I use discretion. You didn't participate. You didn't ask questions. So, no attendance." I stood there, stunned. Then he dropped the real kicker. "I can quiz you, and if you pass, I'll give you the attendance." I blinked. That's not university policy. Well, my class, my rules. Firecracker, he moves the goalposts. I agreed to the quiz, not because I thought it was fair, but because I was desperate. He fired off 5 obscure questions. Stuff that wasn't even in the lecture slides. Honestly, half of it felt made up. I answered what I could. He shook his head. "You're not even close." And then, he pulled out another rule from thin air. "Where's your notebook?" Notebook. You're supposed to maintain a handwritten summary of every lecture. If you don't have that, I can't verify your learning. I felt my stomach twist. That was never part of the syllabus. It was never announced. Not once. But he dismissed me like I was a waste of air. "Sorry. Can't help you." I walked out of that room shaking with rage. And that's when I made a decision. I wasn't just going to fix this. I was going to bury him. Step 1. I pulled up the official student handbook. Page 34, paragraph 3. It clearly stated, attendance is counted if a student is present in class within the first 15 minutes of the scheduled start time. Nothing in there about quizzes. Nothing about notebooks. Just attendance. Step 2. I logged into the university's computer lab system. Every time we logged in, it saved a time-stamped record of which user used which machine. Guess who had logged in during all 12 classes? Me. Even better, I downloaded the lab projects I'd saved. All time-stamped, all matching the class dates. I bundled it all, screenshots, the handbook, login records, even CCTV footage where I could spot myself entering the building. Then I emailed the head of department. The HOD called me in. I laid it all out. She listened, watched, asked questions, and finally said, "You're absolutely right. He has no grounds for withholding your attendance." Then she added, with a tight smile, "We'll be looking into this further. Thank you for bringing it to our attention." A few hours later, I got an email, attendance updated. I was relieved. But Professor V, he wasn't done. The very next day, I got a message. "Please see me in my office. Privately." Something about it felt off. So I did what any paranoid, wronged, and tech-savvy student would do. I hit record on my phone before walking in. And what happened next? He begged. He looked nervous, sweaty, like a man trying to plug holes in a sinking ship. "Listen, this is all a misunderstanding. I could lose my job. If you just send an email saying you mistakenly attended the wrong class, I can justify the error and this all goes away. I'll even keep your attendance as it is." I said, "You want me to lie? In writing? Just help me out, please." I nodded, smiled, said I'd do it. Then I left. Next day, I went back to him. "Sir, I sent the email. Could you please confirm the attendance?" He smirked. "What attendance? You just admitted in writing you were in the wrong class." His trap was supposed to catch me, but he had no idea I'd never sent that email. And I had a full recording of him asking me to falsify information to protect himself. I forwarded that recording, along with a short note, to the dean. 2 days later, we walked into class. And Professor V, he stood at the front of the room, visibly shaken. He didn't say, "Open your laptops." He didn't say, "Today we'll cover inheritance in OOP." He said, "I want to address something. There's been an issue. Some of you may have heard. I might be under review. And honestly, I might lose my job." Then, no joke, he started crying. In front of 80 students. And everyone turned to look at me. He didn't get fired, but he was formally reprimanded. And from that day on, he marked my attendance to the minute. He didn't dare look in my direction. No quizzes, no notebook demands, just silence. And the best part, I still got 90% in his class. Was I great at programming? No, but I didn't need to be. I just needed to win. Some people think power makes them untouchable, but the truth is, receipts beat ego every time. When someone tries to rewrite the rules to crush you, sometimes, all you need is their own words to bring them down. If this story made you want to print out your receipts just in case, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment.